It's 3 a.m. You're awake again. Every piece of advice about waking up in the middle of the night is focused on the wrong thing. Don't look at your phone, do box breathing, get up if you have been awake for 20 minutes, keep the room cold. I've tried all of it. I spent years lying there for hours doing every single thing right and still watching the ceiling until the sunrise. Here's what I eventually understood, that your body is not waking up by accident. It's waking you up because something needs your attention, something unprocessed, something that has nowhere else to go except to the surface at 3 a.m. when everything finally gets quiet. Until you understand that, every tip and trick in the world is just a way of telling your body to just be quiet. And it won't be quiet, not until you actually listen. My name's Daniel, I'm a sleep coach, and I spent a decade lying exactly where you're at right now before I figured out what my body was actually trying to tell me. So let's talk about, what is it actually trying to tell you? Because when you're awake at 3 a.m., when you're lying there staring at the ceiling, your nervous system is not just malfunctioning. It's not broken. It's not random. It's responding to a signal. And that signal is almost always coming from one of these three places. Here are the three most common reasons your body pulls you out of sleep in the middle of the night, and more importantly, what each one is trying to tell you about what's going on underneath. The first one is cortisol spike. This I'm sure you've heard of. Cortisol is your body's primary stress hormone. Under normal circumstances, it follows a natural rhythm, lowest in the middle of the night, and then rising gradually until the morning to prepare you to wake up. But if your nervous system has been running on high alert, that curve gets disrupted. The cortisol spikes early, sometimes as early as 2 or 3 a.m., and that spike is enough to pull you straight out of sleep. If you wake up feeling alert, almost wired, like your body decided it's time to start the day, even though it's the middle of the night, that's often what's happening. But the cortisol spike, it's not the root problem. It's the result of a nervous system that has been under pressure for too long. So we'll come back to that. The second one is a blood sugar crash. When your blood sugar drops in the middle of the night, your body interprets that as a mild stress and releases cortisol and adrenaline to compensate. And that hormonal response can wake you up. And this is more common than people realize, and it's worth looking at if you're eating late, skipping meals, or going to bed on an empty stomach. The fix here is actually kind of simple. It's a small protein or fat snack before bed. Handful of nuts, a little almond butter, nothing complicated. But for most people dealing with this chronic middle of the night awakening, this alone is not going to solve it. Because even when the blood sugar is stable, the wakings continue. Which brings me to my third reason, the one I think is actually behind most of what is happening for people who've been dealing with sleep issues for more than just a few weeks. This is the one that took me the longest to understand, and the one that changed everything when I finally did. So when everything gets quiet at night, the stuff you've been pushing down during the day has nowhere left to hide. And during the day, you're moving, right? You're working, you're busy, you're distracted. Always something to focus on that isn't how you actually feel underneath. But at night, in the dark, in the silence, that buffer disappears. And the unprocessed stuff surfaces. The anxiety you didn't sit with. The conversation still sitting heavy in your chest. The stress you pushed away instead of actually feeling it. The grief, the worry, whatever it is for you. Your body hasn't forgotten any of it. It never does. Well, not without support. But it wakes you up. Not to punish you. Not because you're broken, but because your body is asking for something it didn't get during the day. And I want to give you a way to think about this because it changed everything for me. Think about a young child waking up in the middle of the night, crying, scared, not okay. What would you do? You don't ignore it. You don't tell it to stop and go back to sleep. You don't roll over and hope it figures itself out. You go to them. You sit with them. You ask what's wrong. You make them feel safe, and something in the child settles because they feel seen, because whatever was scary or uncomfortable finally gets met with presence. Your nervous system works the same way. When you wake up at 3 a.m., your body is dysregulated. The worst thing you can do is to fight it. Check the clock, calculate what time you have left, tell yourself that you're just going to go back to sleep, forcing it rather than meeting it. Because what that is ignoring the screaming child. What actually works is tuning towards it, getting curious, asking, what does it need right now? What am I feeling? What does the body actually need in this moment? It's amazing because in that curiosity, something starts to soften. Not always immediately, but it starts. And your body gets a message it's been waiting for. That it's okay. That you're listening. That it doesn't have to keep screaming. So what does this look like in practice at 3 a.m. when you're lying there and everything I just described is actually happening? Here's what I do and what I teach. The first thing is to check in on how your body actually feels underneath the waking. Not whether you're awake. You're awake. So that part's already happened. The quality of what you're feeling. Is there a sense of calm underneath? Are you relatively at peace, just conscious, or agitated, anxious, racing mind, something that feels like it's buzzing under your skin? These are two very different responses. If you feel calm and restful, I want you to stay in bed. Don't reach for your phone. Don't start doing math on how many hours you have left. Just be there. Put one hand on your chest, breathe slow, exhale longer than you inhale. You're not trying to force yourself back into sleep, because that's actually counterproductive. You're just telling your nervous system that nothing is wrong, that it's okay, it's safe to let go. And a lot of people fall back asleep faster doing this than anything else they've tried before, because they've stopped fighting and creating this battle of them versus them at night, finally giving themselves permission to rest. Now, if you feel activated, anxious, or frustrated, get up. Not to start today, just up. Go somewhere quiet. Sit with whatever is there. Write it out if you need to. Move your body a little. If it feels like something is buzzing and needs to go somewhere, let it have its moment. This is the processing that didn't happen during the day. When you let it happen now, even for 15, 20 minutes, your nervous system releases something real. The more we do this, the more sleep will come back. What you do not want to do is continue this resisting, watching the clock, getting more frustrated by the minute. Because every night you do that, you're teaching your body that 3 a.m. is a place of stress and dread. And that association builds night after night until your nervous system is primed to wake up and panic before you've even opened your eyes. One last practical thing. Turn your clock away from your bed before you go to sleep. The moment you check the time, your analytical brain switches on, starts the calculations. Now you're assessing. Your nervous system reads that as alertness, as a signal that something needs your attention. Knowing what time it is won't help your sleep. It only gives your mind more to work with. Here's what I really want you to hear before we close. All of this cortisol, the blood sugar, the emotional surfacing, the 3 a.m. wake up that happens like clockwork, it's all a symptom. It's your body trying to tell you something that in your waking life hasn't been given a place to land. The long-term answer isn't a better 3 a.m. routine. It's building a nervous system that actually gets to regulate during the day, processing the stress before you carry it into bed, and creating real safety inside your body, not just in your bedroom environment. And that is the work that ends the cycle. The people I work with who actually stop waking up in the middle of the night are not the ones who found the perfect breathing technique. They're the ones who started paying attention to what their body was trying to tell them and started responding to it with something other than frustration. If you're waking up night after night, you're exhausted from managing the symptoms without ever getting to what's actually underneath. That's exactly the work we do inside my sleep support program. The link's in the description. There's over 20 courses, sleep assessments, live calls with me, and a group of people who know exactly what it feels like to wake up at 3 a.m. You don't have to keep lying there alone. Thanks for watching. Rest well, and I'll see you in the next one.